Where's my phone? You see my phone anywhere, bud?
Is it? Is Dennis? Are you gonna put the link somewhere? Is it just no? I think everyone can. Oh, Max, can you let them in, or you don't have access to them?
That's what I'm saying. I've got access to let them in.
Okay. I'm not sure how to do that. How do I give you guys access? I'll try. I'll just try and I'll be around, but I just as far as the moderation goes, I think that you should just run that for a minute, and
Okay.
I'll be in and out if that's cool. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Hey, big up, Josh. I'm just running this on behalf of Couch Critic at the moment, so we're just looking at the game. I'm not sure how I'll be able to let anyone else into the chat at the moment. Yeah, so 3 points is 3 points. It was ugly. It wasn't a good game, but you know what? We got the job done in the end, so that was good.
Yeah.
So listen, I said my say a little bit on, and I think MDT had his say a little bit. So I just want to hear from DJ. I want to talk to you first, and Bobby. So DJ, what's your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, well, mate, it was a tough game, mate. I thought when we got our first goal, I thought that would have been it. I thought that maybe the floodgates might start opening up, and then when obviously Havertz got that goal, obviously it was offside. I thought, then all of a sudden we let them back in the game again. But yeah, listen, it's like the commentator said.
There's a lot of background noise.
When you want to win titles, you've got to go to places like Watford on a Wednesday night, on a Wednesday winter night, whatever you want to call it, and get these games and get 3 points in the bag. And look, it wasn't pretty football. We got the job done. It's cost us a little bit there because obviously the knocks to Chalobah. That's worried me now because I don't know how long he's going to be out for. Mendy went down as well at one point when he got kicked. I was worried about him as well. So we're starting to pick up injuries now, and it is concerning me a little bit. I just hope our players all can come back as soon as possible, mate, because we can't go like this again, with injuries happening again and we start losing or not losing games, but faltering, you get me?
Yeah, and the worry is as well, this is the first game. We got 8 games in 12 days. I can't remember. It's a game every other day now until January. So
West Ham Saturday.
We've got West Ham Saturday, then we've got a game, another midweek game. I think we play. Is it Brentford? We've got as well in the League Cup. Yeah, and I suppose in the League Cup we can try and rest a couple of players in that one. But they are coming thick and fast. Do we know anything about the return dates of Kante, Kovacic? Have we got an indication?
I think Kante. I think from what I know, Kante, when he spoke in his press conference for the game against Manchester United, I think he did say, I think then it would be a week, 5 days for Kante, so he could be back for the West Ham game. Kante.
Hope so.
So that could be. Hopefully, that will be for that. As for Jorginho, I don't know what's up with Jorginho.
He was on the bench today.
He was actually
on the bench today. So I think.
Okay, so it's not so bad.
Yeah, the fact that he was on the bench, he's probably didn't want to risk him for this game, and maybe the West Ham game.
And Reece James, we missed him today.
Yeah, definitely. Not sure how long Reece James is out for. Don't know. So I hope it's not a long-term thing. I hope it's just a niggle. He did say, but in this press conference, though, with regards to Reece James, that he was touch and go, and he was going to see with the physios whether he could play today. So for me, that looks like it's not a big injury. So he probably wasn't ready for. Is it ankle? Some CFC
something like that. Yeah, his ankle.
Yeah,
did you see? Just out of curiosity, guys, did you see? I was asking DT. Did you guys see the tweet that was sent regarding Saul Niguez about Thomas Tuchel talking about him? I put it in our chat. It doesn't look good.
He gave a press conference. They gave a press conference as well.
He doesn't. He's saying he doesn't know where he's going to go now. He goes with this performance.
Yeah. Remember yesterday, guys, when we were doing the lineup. That's what I said, and that's what MTD said. We both said the same thing. Saul in this midfield against a physical, robust Watford is like suicide. And the reason why they were coming at us time and time again is we had no defensive cover. So our defense was got out all the time because the midfield wasn't giving them that defensive cover that they need. And as MTD picked up, and I said similar something, they attacked the left-hand side. Why? Because that's where our weak links were. So that was Ranieri's game plan was, they got Saul on that side, they've got Alonso on that side. This is where we can get our joy from. And they did get a lot of joy. And if you look, hardly, I'll say 80% of the attacks, or if not more, came from our left-hand side. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, Bob, you finished, or you got any?
I ain't
You finished?
started yet.
Yeah, I'm
No,
done.
DJ. I was saying, yeah, DJ. Okay, Bob.
I'm good.
Bobby.
I'm good. I'm good.
Hey,
Bobby,
guys.
over to you, mate.
Yes.
Hi, Bob.
There's a lot of things I've taken from this game. One of them that we shouldn't take is to talk of the game in context as if we had a normal squad out there like Liverpool did against Everton. We have an injury-ravaged squad. We don't even have our forwards. The midfield is completely knocked out. Saul Niguez, well, he's answered all questions today. And what we have is a brilliant goalkeeper who I'm concerned, what will happen when he goes to the African Cup of Nations.
Yeah, Bobby,
Look,
just to stop you there just a minute before you carry on. Watford had 8 players out as well today. So that puts things into context. Not Malang Sarr, their Sarr is Lama Sarr, who's arguably, along with Dennis, their best player. He was out today. If he was there today, we could have been in big trouble. So, and they had Ben Foster, who's their number 1 goalkeeper, was out, and they had the other goalkeeper in today is not very good. So, so they too are missing players. So, carry on anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's that time of year. Having said that, I don't look at Watford's squad pressure in the same vein as Chelsea's squad pressure. But all the same, yes, they've had players out and they've done very well with Ranieri, and we know what he brings to a team. What this should tell us as a fan base is this age-old issue of a strong squad. Some of our fixation with some players and this goddamn issue of playing time is an absolute joke. You don't do that at the top. You have to have enough quality to be able to deal with these situations that will certainly come. Who knows when we'll have a fit enough midfield again? We need that reserve. Saul is not good enough. We need to have been able to dip into some of our academy graduates. But what has happened? We've sent the guys that were probably able to play in this sort of game. We've sent them out on loan, vis-a-vis your likes of Ampadu and so on. It is what it is.
Yeah, I was crying out for a Billy Gilmore today because Gilmore would have relished this. Not Gilmore. Sorry, Conor Gallagher. I think Gallagher.
Conor. Yeah, well,
I think Conor Gallagher would have relished this game today.
Conor next season, he's got to come back. It's as simple as that. I think Ampadu, MDT has often sung his praises. These are the games that bring them in, and then they create a longevity out of it. All this madness of just looking at Chelsea's first 11 and looking at the schedule we have and expecting us to play that same team from the beginning to the end of the season and think that people are going to be sat on the bench clicking their heels waiting for their opportunity. It's, as I've always said, is incredibly short-sighted. However, that short-sightedness has actually seeped into the decision makers because they have made some short-sighted decisions. Another thing, I defend Tuchel to the hilt. I think he is the best out there and he's doing the best for our club. It's not easy. He's managing characters. He has to keep everybody relatively motivated and happy within the squad, as it were. And I think that's the only reason Alonso is playing, because I've never wanted him on that left wing back. He is the weakness. And as Mo said, they targeted it. They saw he was the weakness. And, added with Saul, wow, happy days. The only thing left in that thin defensive line was Rudiger. And the poor Rudiger playing week in, week out, constantly because we don't have backup for him. I wouldn't. Alonso's not my choice. Yeah, people say yes, he's good up front, and that it's only few and far between. If he was that good up front, we would have scored more than 2 goals. So it is a problem for us. Injuries have ravaged us. Man City are complaining about injuries. Goodness me! And look at their strength in depth. So what should we be doing? We should be screaming. Pep was calling it an emergency. I think ours is intensive care. You know what I mean? We are struggling because of injuries, and the only reason we're staying afloat is we still have the quality, some dotted here and there, and the manager, although he's making some odd selections, he's still, because of his tactical structuring, he's still keeping the team afloat as it lacks personnel. I'll take off Jason Conde. He was saying earlier, Max, that Chelsea it isn't a problem of the shape or the system. It's that of personnel, and he's so right. We don't have the players. I don't know if James is back. I think he is against West Ham. I think I don't know what the midfield will look like, which is going to be key. Rather than put Saul in there, you may as well put Barkley. And play him
God, that's a big shout.
Is he worse than Saul?
No, I agree with.
But you know
I
what,
agree with
Bobby?
Bobby here. To be honest, Bobby, you're right.
I think
He will
Kante
fight.
that, though.
He will
Before
Barkley would not be bullied on the ball. Let's be honest. He won't be bullied. You can criticize him, or he's stronger than Saul. Saul was running away. He didn't want the ball.
Yeah,
he wasn't even bullied. I didn't even find that he was bullied. I just thought he was he kept no shape. He had absolutely
was
no
running away
presence
from
in the
the ball.
midfield.
Yeah,
he was scared.
There were times when we were trying to build up from the back. I didn't see him anywhere near like our defenders, like as a number 6. He was just floating through the midfield. Like I couldn't believe that he was on the pitch for that long. It was like, what is he doing out there?
Yeah,
when I used to play, go on, sorry, Bobby, go.
I'll just say this in roundabout. So part of me feels sorry for him because he knows he has lost so much form that now his confidence is completely shot to pieces. I did notice him hiding. He is hiding. And look at that, West Ham drew. So that means they'll be a bit more determined by the time they play us. So we've got to be on our game. Saul is hiding. Saul's a waste of space right now. There's no redemption. And the sooner we make a decision to use that space for somebody else, the better. So
No. I was saying when I used to play football, I was as a striker. But once they asked me to play centre midfield, and if you're not a centre midfielder, you get lost in that position. You're always second to the ball. You're just late for it. That reminded me of a performance I played when I was centre midfield. He was just nowhere to be seen today. He was even that's one that got the yellow card because he was a second late in a challenge.
That was a soft yellow, though. That was a soft yellow.
It was a soft yellow, yeah. But the thing is, he's not got up to speed with the Premier League at all. His passes were going astray as well. I just don't know what value he had in the team today. He's just, and before we bought him, the WT did warn us to go. I always said, why are they getting rid of him? Why are they so quick to want to get rid of this guy if he's one of their top players? And that's when alarm bells should have started ringing for us.
You and me both.
Yeah.
We
as I was saying, I was expecting to see the sound of Gaz of 2 years ago. I guess that's probably why I thought he was going to become good, but it's not proved to be that way, is it?
No.
We can't buy it. Every time Chelsea get a player on some kind of past glory, it never ends well. They always come and struggle. Shevchenko was a classic example of that because by the time he got to Chelsea, he was a spent disaster.
Falcao,
yeah,
and
Pato
as well. Oh,
dear,
Pato, he was bought more out of hope than anything else.
No, he was bought as a favour to the agent at the time, Jericho. whatever his name is.
Kia Ryabchik.
Kia Ryabchik.
Yeah.
You know, so it never works. Niguez is just clearly that this is a player that his career is gone.
Bobby, have you heard this? Apparently, we can call Ampadu back. This how do you call it? If we want in January, there's an option. Yeah,
I think we
I would do that.
Yeah,
I would do that right away.
But let me tell you guys this today. The problem with the loan is not the manager. The club make money of these loan players. So that's the thing. The club make money. So sometimes it's the club that push them to go on loan. The players don't want to go.
MDT, the club will lose money if we don't get trophies.
Yeah. I know.
So I know. They got to get him back.
And the manager pays for it after that, what?
And he will be motivated to come back and state his case. It has become now abundantly clear that the midfield trio of Kovacic, Jorginho, and Kante is not enough. They're good when they're fully fit, but they won't stay fully fit throughout the course of a season. And it's doing the midfield strength and a favour to be able to rotate with functional players. A midfield today of Ampadu and Ruben would have been very functional because Ampadu would have done the defensive bit and Ruben would be able to go forward. You know, Saul Niguez, I don't know, please. Send him back in January. There's no point.
We can't.
It's not possible.
No, we can't.
What we could do.
We're stuck. Now we're stuck with him for the season, unfortunately, because that's
that's 15 million. You know, this season 15 million it cost us.
Yeah.
Unless we give him to someone else for free, but Marina's not going to do that. So
no, well, there's no point.
You know, you guys are gonna. This is gonna sound strange, but I'm happy. Reece James didn't play this game. Callum didn't play because the way they were physical, and even Lukaku, I was scared. I'm like, one tackle on that ankle is gone for the next 3 months. So I was terrified with the tackle Watford was putting in. I'm like, this is why. This is the type of game. Yeah, this is the type of game you miss Ampadu because he is ruthless. You know, this is the type of game you miss certain players. Like, you know, I'm like, you know, I'm glad they didn't put Callum. I was worried about Pulisic and Mount. That tackle. I thought, you know what, this is a leg breaker, and the referee let him slide. You see the push on Pulisic on the advertisement board.
Yeah, he should
advertisement board. Yeah. Exactly. They were very, very rough today, and you know, and even like Christensen, he was knocked in the face in the first few minutes, and I'm like, oh my God, I hope he doesn't concuss for West Ham. You know, so I'm glad few players didn't play today. Reece James and them, you know, because we need them for West Ham. You know,
that guy is it Trust
physical. West Ham are also going to be physical. I mean,
for sure.
This is Chelsea. We know this is what we get. This is why we need some tough guys in there. You know, this is why I'm always advocating for physicality, especially in midfield. You know, I know Ruben has the size to do this. Although I do get a bit concerned about his ankles as well, but you know his size really helps us a lot. You know, and though James has the size to deal with it, he's played a lot of games, and he's the kind of player that they will target for a bit of a snidey snap at his ankles or something like that. I'm glad he didn't play. I'm so glad Callum didn't play. I haven't seen the full game yet. But if he didn't, that's wonderful.
What about Rudiger? I'm worried. If we lose him, what's going to happen?
I'm worried.
You know what? Rudiger went to war with
Mendy as well today, had it, didn't he?
Yeah. And Thiago Silva as well was on the floor a few times.
Yeah.
Did Thiago play?
He came on the second half.
When Chalobah was injured. We lost Chalobah now.
What happened?
Because
he came off in the gas. Didn't he?
Hamstring. I think it's hamstring. Because that's the same thing that because minimum is 5 to 6 weeks. You know, that's why.
I don't know yet. No.
It depends on the.
It depends. But because of
did he hobble off or did he walk?
He pulled up. He walked off. He pulled up. But he walked off. It was a hop. It wasn't a proper walk.
Yeah, Kova and Timo had the similar. Timo just came back for whatever, and now Kova will be coming maybe next week or two, something like that.
Yeah.
So
guys,
what do you think?
What do you think? Why are we getting all these hamstring injuries? Is it something we're doing in training or something? It seems weird because remember under Jose Mourinho, we hardly had any injuries for about 2 or 3 seasons, didn't we? We had some medical staff who used to monitor these players all the time, and we weren't known for injuries. But of late, we've been picking up all these injuries in the last, I think, 2 or 3 seasons.
I think it has a lot to do with just the amount of football these guys are playing now. Like, and no preseason to really recuperate. These guys are just going. Your muscles can only take so much before they start to give on you, right? And you could say Chalobah hasn't really played that much, and he probably shouldn't be. He's not in the same conversation, but
he's
overall, but overall, I'm just thinking what we're seeing right now is a lot of players are just playing too many matches, way too many matches.
And you know what? It doesn't help with the internationals as well.
Yeah,
because there's so many that's it.
They make it worse. When even Sky, as dreadful as they are, I mean, I'm nearly throwing up watching them now and all their Liverpool propaganda. But when even they turned around and said, "Look, Tuchel is trying to help Mason Mount because last season this guy played over 80 games at this level. It is excruciating. It's unreal." And anybody who even has any ounce of mercy and expects a squad like Chelsea to maintain their position and not have backup for him is insane as well. I'm sorry. This is why you have a big squad. These guys should not be playing like this. Rudiger's position concerns me a great deal. He's going to play against West Ham. That's a problem. Do you know what I'm saying? That is a problem. This guy has been playing once every 2-3 days for how long? Since he came back from injury. He hardly misses a game for Germany. It's terrible. We need to get someone else on that field, in my opinion, but we won't because he's the best.
What do you think of these comments from Thomas Tuchel? He said Chelsea stole 3 points with lucky win over Watford.
True.
I don't think we had a foothold in that match at any point. Thought that if we were going to get a draw, it probably would have been a fair result. But overall, we just did not play well. We had no control in that midfield. And, I don't want to harp on Ruben, but this is like the second game in a row where he just hasn't really taken the midfield and given us anything. I mean, his partner didn't help. Mommy soon come, okay, bud? His partner didn't give us much help, but at the same time, it's just he just doesn't. He's not really the type of 6 that we need right now. I know he wants to be more of the roving 6, and what we needed was somebody to just sit in there and be like a guy that can dictate the tempo and whatnot, like a Billy Gilmore essentially. And he just hasn't really showed me that he has the ability to do that yet.
But that's not his skill set, though. That's not his skill set, is it? He's never been that player. He's been more of a box to box player, I think. And what we saw today, sorry, Bobby, what we saw today was the value of Jorginho, because we just didn't have any control in that midfield today without that Jorginho type player.
And
sorry,
also,
Bobby.
Also, Max, you see the importance. You've just hit the nail on the head. Sell Jorginho in the summer. Sell him. This is why you don't effing sell him. You see what I mean? These guys need these people beside them in their development, including Ruben. Ruben is a fantastic midfielder. I call him the ultimate midfielder, but he can't really do that without the experience to encourage him to use his ability. And people like Jorginho, people like Kovacic, people like Kante, when they're fit and available, have to now be rotated along with people like Ruben and hopefully Ampadu when they come back, and hopefully Conor Gallagher. This is how we will. This is the only way we will stand any chance of any sort of glory going forward. Big squad, multiple players in multiple positions, and that's it.
Yeah.
Don't be worried about, oh, we've got this full squad today. Who's going to play? I can assure you, 2-3 weeks down the line, we're going to get somebody that's going to need to play.
Can I just say something before, because I have to go, guys, because I'm gonna start streaming soon as well. I just pick up Couch. I said I come to the channel. Sorry, mate. I finished work and I just come home now. I'm getting something to eat. So yeah, Chelsea were off today, performance wise, but I take the 3 point because I was absolutely nervous all game. I was worried, sick. I said, oh, please, God, don't drop another 2 points. I was very nervous, especially when I saw Liverpool and Man City score, gone ahead. And I'm like, oh, please, just don't ruin it. It's going to be a horrible week. But yeah, we managed to get that goal. Result-wise, 3 points is good. But performance, guys, we need to improve, really. Watford were very good, you
have to give credit to Watford. They were brave today. They
did that exactly, Max, against Man U. Pressed high. They didn't give you space or time. I think, Max, the home performer can just keep him in the Premier League. Ranieri, that's what he's planning to do. A home performer will go to beat everyone just to manage to get that 40 points to stay in the league. And that's what exactly they're doing.
That's going to be a difficult place for a lot of teams to go to.
Yeah.
Again, and I said the reason is because that ground is so tight. They can get up and down. I know it doesn't. Does Man City played? I don't think Man City have played in it, have they?
No, next week.
I think they'll struggle against them at Vicarage, not at home, but at Vicarage they'll struggle because that's as I said, it's a tight ground. They're not going to get the spaces they usually get. So it'll be interesting to see their performance against them. But guys, what do you think about obviously of the midfield? Speak about the midfield, but what about the wing back roles? Because Aspie, I thought today was very disappointing. He was awful, wasn't he?
We're just not getting anything. We're not getting it. We had no width today whatsoever. Like every time we went out wide, it was either turned over or it went out of bounds. We just got nothing. I actually thought that Watford was decent, but I think they just preyed on our weaknesses. The midfield and however when you look at it, like even our wing backs, if you want to consider them midfielders, they just preyed on them the whole game. Like Alonso was a turnstile. Azpilicueta couldn't win a duel, which is very rare for him. Could not win a duel. And then when we tried to get forward, we had nothing, no width to get forward. And I think it has more to do with the fact that we were just like so pinned back half the time that those guys were just worried about trying to get forward,
But I heard that talking about Aspie that he's not going to be signing a new contract because the club wanted to sign a new contract, but he's delaying because I think Barcelona wants him. Yeah. So
everybody,
they want all our players at the moment. They want all our players.
Barcelona still have money problems.
But I think we do need to address that because with Reece James Reece James has got an injury record as well, hasn't he? He hasn't, because he's the ankle that he's had problems with in the past. It started when he was it at England under 21s, and so I think, and even with the games, that's it. And with the games coming thick and fast, and with lots of games played, I think Aspie is probably more suited for one of the three positions in the defence as a rotation for that role rather than as a wing back role. So I do think that we should. Do you think
Jules Koundé?
Do you think Livramento will come back next season?
No, I think most likely we have to call one of the kids. We have 2 or 3 currently. We have to call one of them. This can't go on. You can't be sending people out. You need them in your team. Dujan Stalin,
Lawrence or something like that.
Lawrence or Dujan Stalin has to come back. Because the thing is, the club decided to send Dujan Stalin on loan because he was injured half of last season. They want him to have game time. That was the club's decision. Boy, he says we need him now because to be honest with you, the more I see
it's fitness time. That's a bit different.
Yeah, the more I see Aspi, the more I'm like, wow, age is catching up with him. 33 is not easy for that position. The more I see him, because he can't even jump now. He's been out jumped.
But you know what, with Aspie, yeah, and the thing with Aspie, as what Bob was alluding to earlier as well, the fact is, remember, I don't think in about 5 or 6 seasons he hadn't missed the game, because he played every single game, didn't he, in the league to that. So when you think of all the games that he's played for us throughout his career at Chelsea, he's probably, in the 7 or 8 years he's been here, probably only missed, I'd say, 12, 13 games in those years. So it's eventually going to catch up with you when you play that much football.
You know, and one player as well I'm worried about is Pulisic. After playing 90 minutes, the kicking he took this game, I hope he's fit for the next game, because he was in pain. You know, some of these players were in pain, proper pain today. So I just hope everything we're well and proper for Saturday. Is it lunchtime? Yeah, lunchtime. Is it tea time or lunchtime?
It's a lunchtime game, 12:30.
Lunchtime game, yeah. I just hope, but Aspi, I think I don't. To be honest, if Aspi even stay, he's just gonna stay for like being the senior guy to help the young players. I don't see him playing much next season, even if he stay, because if you remember, even against Juventus, they were targeting him with the long ball when we away. You remember? Even the Juventus goal came from him as well, because they target him. He's 33. He's not young for a defender, and secondly, he's not the tallest. He used to use his cuteness to win advantage. Now, if you're playing against fast players, it's different. No matter how smart you are, they will get you a couple of times in the game. And today, he couldn't even pass the halfway line. You know, that's age is catching up.
That's probably why he hasn't been playing this that often this season. Now you can see the reasons. Yeah, guys, before we carry on, this is Couch Critics stream, growing channel, so he needs all your support. If you haven't hit that like button, give the guy some support. Big up to those in the chat. I can see ZVO Genius in there, MGIG, CFC Stephen, Hannes CFC. So thanks for your support, guys. So DJ, you still there, mate?
I'm still here, bro. I'm still here.
Yeah, where are you? Are you bottom left?
You can not see me. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, I'm bottom left. Hold on. Bear me 1 second. Yeah, hold on. Alexa,
I see a black screen.
That's better.
You got your lights on. I saw something in the corner.
Yeah. No, I had my.
All right, guys, I've got to go, guys, and I'll speak to you guys later. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Big up, Kazim. Big up.
Yeah, bye.
Big up.
See you later.
Take it easy, Kasim. Take care, bro.
Yeah.
No, we put a Christmas tree up today, Max. So the lights we're waiting. I just wanted to see what the lights are like, and the tree is a brand new tree we bought. So the lights obviously not that great. So I thought it might be just great to have them on. But now that I put the lamp up on now, so I'm back here again.
Oh, right. Yeah. I think when we were on the other channel, Mo was asking about the performances. Yeah, I think there's more to get at Kasim actually. But so, what do you guys think of Ziyech's performance when obviously we know he scored the winner? But
I thought when he came on, I thought he played okay. He got the goal at least. He did give a few missed passes today, I have to say. I guess because he went to that midfield today, didn't he? When he came on, he was giving a few missed passes today. But other than that, I thought he was okay. He got the winning goal. That's what counts, at least. You know, can't really say much on that. Really, I mean, he got the winning goal. You know, and hopefully he can continue. He'll continue on playing like this, but obviously better than what he was today.
Yeah, and he could have scored a second with a header, couldn't he?
Yeah, yeah, with that header as well. Yeah.
For me, his contribution was the goal, which win us the game. So I can't criticize him. You can't criticize somebody when they score a goal. But other part of the game, there are a few counters, or if you choose the right ball, we are through. So, you have to take.
Let's not forget. For sure. He came into a game that was really physical and fast, and to even just come to the grips with the pace and power of that game, to the point where he scores a goal and probably should have had two. you got to commend the guy for that. Like it wasn't.
Yeah, that's
like
what
he
I
came
mean.
into
I
a
mean,
game
like,
that was,
if somebody score a winning goal, you gotta to be honest, you gotta praise them. You gotta praise them. Everything else they do it doesn't count anymore because you win the game because of them. But I believe that he could do more because I know that he's capable of doing more. I just know because I know I've seen him done some of the passes he missed. I believe he can do better. He can pick anybody he wants. I just think sometimes he just need to slow the game down a little bit, like Mahrez does. No need to go too quick. As soon as Ziyech does that, we will see a different player. I think sometimes he just want to play too quick. If he slow the game down like he does at Ajax, he will do better. Sometimes you don't need to follow people when they're running. You can play at your pace. Zola used to do that. Zola never rush anything. He plays at his pace. And their players, Dennis Bergkamp, Riyad Mahrez does that. Even Mo Salah, he play at his own pace. As soon as and Ziyech has the skill, the technique to do that. Today for me, I'm very happy with him because he was the only forward that came on and had 2 chances. He scored one, which is brilliant for me. Which is brilliant because the header as well, it was his run. And also, guess what? We've been talking about false nine movement, whatever. When Lukaku came on, you saw all the defenders went to him, and Ziyech was free in the box to score the goal. And the header as well, Ziyech's header, what happened? Diversion. So when Boogeyman keep going on about, we need movement, we need this work. So this is the thing. Football, more vendors scoring goals.
He's not here to defend himself.
I know. I know.
Crazy. He's got his face set there. Oh, man.
We need movement. Lukaku doesn't move.
Where is he? He's not on tonight.
I don't need a guy to move. What I need somebody to score me a goal. Movement doesn't score you a goal. A human being score you a goal.
But you know what, Jacob? You know what I like about Ziyech?
Honestly.
Yeah, but what I'm liking about Ziyech now, what we didn't get from him a lot was even his off the ball work. He's trying a bit more now because when he first came, it was just like he didn't want to do that donkey work and stuff. So, but when he loses it, he fights back for it. You see him tracking back and doing all that off the ball work. He's gonna be, I think last week people were being a bit critical of him, but I thought he was our best player, our best attacking player last week when we played against Manchester United. Most of the good things came from him. Okay, he did some bad passes, but most of the good things came from him. And I like him to be brave and try those passes. Some of them are not going to come off, but if they do come off, then it could be like that killer pass. So I prefer people to be brave in their passing than just to be safe all the time. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, with those passes, Max, I think if you play with Chilwell or Cho, it's fine. It's a brilliant pass. But if you play with Kai and whatever, they do different run because Ziyech is used to. Yes, Ziyech is used to playing the ball out wide. Even today, he played the ball. He thought like he was playing with James, and it was Aspie. Remember, the ball went out. And he looked up.
I remember that missed pass. Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, he looked at Aspie. You were not supposed to be defending. You're supposed to be attacking. We're attacking. Aspie is looking like, I don't have the lung to be running up and down. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of Havertz today? I thought this was one of his best games. To be honest,
I thought he was actually good today.
Havertz, his movement was good. His carrying of the ball was good. The only thing I think he needs to improve on is his physicality, because
100%.
He's getting brushed off the ball a bit. So if he can get that part of his game and just you don't have to be muscular. Sometimes if you know how to use your body properly in the right way, then I think he'll be a good player. But I did love the way that his movement, and he's deceptively fast, isn't he? He doesn't look fast, but once he starts to get the burners on, then he's okay. And what was that run that he did for? Did he cross it to some? I can't remember. He did a really good run. I think some point in the second half.
He took a shot. It was deflected to the goalkeeper.
Oh, that's right. And it took a shot. Yeah. But I thought he was quite impressive today. Because even when they were going to make the substitute, I said Havertz is definitely not going to come off. He shouldn't come off on the way he's playing. So I was surprised that he took Aspi. I could see why he took Aspi off. Then that was a brave move. So again, plaudits to Kel. Last week we criticised him for his substitutes, but this week I thought his substitutes were brave and decisive, and they made a difference.
Yeah, he went for
and
it.
also,
like I don't know if you guys noticed, he went. It was like a 3 at the back, Ruben the oldie holder, and then he basically just had 6 attackers, just 6 attackers going forward to win the game. Like that's wow, brave.
Did you notice? Did you guys notice that when Ruben stayed, it wasn't going whatever after when he went for it? That's when he played his best game. When he wasn't going up and down, that's when Ruben had that's when he came into the game. So I'm like, why didn't you do that first half? But then I remember maybe it was different role because he was playing with somebody else. But when he was forced to sit in the second half, that's when he played his best game. And the other thing that surprised me about Kai, I want him to play, like Van Persie, Robin Van Persie. He's like very nasty. I want him to have that nasty streak, like when defenders are scared to come next to you. So imagine if Kai just have that nastiness in him, like that Dennis Bergkamp nastiness, where you don't elbow people, but you step on their toe if they come close to you and things like that. So defenders, they stay back from you. I want him to have that.
Yeah, or Luis Suarez.
That sounds like a mentality thing, and I don't think he has that mentality. I'm just gonna be honest. Yeah, he's pretty lightweight, and I think the first thing that he needs to do is just hit the gym and just be able to hold himself up. I thought he was actually, to be honest with you, one of his better games in terms of holding up the ball. As much as he did get knocked off it a few times, I thought he was actually better at holding it up than I've seen in the past.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, no, as I said before, the movement I thought was exceptional today as well.
And to be honest, even Pulisic, I enjoy his game today. I was just worried for him, but I enjoyed his game. He was first 15, 20 minutes, he was they all struggled, the front line. But later on, the more they got the ball, they were beating their man, they were getting fouled. But I believe the referee led the game. The game was too physical for me personally. I believe that there was some tackle that crossed the line. Cleverly,
he let a lot go, didn't they?
Yeah, cleverly step on Rubin a couple of times, and I'm like, this guy has an Achilles injury. Is he gonna get up and stuff like that? I'm like, well, the referee let it slide. So he let quite a few go. And this guy, I hate him. The former Tottenham guy. What's his name?
Sissoko.
No, not Sissoko. The other one, the left back.
Danny Rose.
Danny Rose.
Rose is a big diva. He fake injuries left, right, and center. You touch him, he's on the floor. He tackle you, he pretend you kick him. I hate him since Tottenham. I can't. It's unbelievable.
But to be fair, Rudiger did the same thing for us.
I know. But you saw how many free kick he won today. Danny Rose, each time is a free kick. You could get close to him, is a free kick. And I'm like, what? This guy is I was getting a little bit nervous. No, I was really nervous. Not a little bit. I was nervous.
Yeah. Something we haven't spoken about, which was quite important, which is not to do with it. Obviously, the game was delayed for a bit because of the incident in the crowd with the guy who had a heart attack. And fair play to Alonso. That's probably one of the only things he got right in the game. Was when he was the one who alerted to that. So props to him for that. And it's great. If I had a heart attack, I wish I had it at a football match now, because you can get the best medical attention. Because this is the second one, isn't it? What happened? We had the one at what game was it? A couple of weeks ago. There was something similar. Newcastle, wasn't it? Newcastle Tottenham.
Yeah, what happened in that?
You guys know, but same thing.
Same situation, was it?
Yeah, same situation. Exactly the same situation. And then they
the good thing is they were not far off. Was I'm not working. I don't work far away from there, by the way. Where the hospital far from there, where they were taking the guy to get his where he was going to go to the hospital. I think it's Watford district or something like that. Hospital.
Yeah, apparently it's quite close to the ground.
Yeah, not far away from working from now. I work around them ways, mate. It's like far away from me.
Yeah, so we just have to say big up to the medical staff for that, and it's a good job. Right, so go on.
No, when it was happening, I thought something happened to the players. I was a little bit extra. No. I'm like, what's going on? Then when it was the fan, I'm like, wow. I hope the family. I didn't want the camera to show the players like what they did with Eriksen. Yeah, which was great, because imagine sitting there seeing your family member in that situation. It would have been like more traumatic for everybody, including the players. So which they did it, the medical staff, the players, and everybody. They handle it. You know, you gotta give them props. And also, do you guys notice the amount of footballers that are having heart issues recently has gone up? Because this amount of games they're playing should be looked into. Because these people are human beings; they're not machines.
They're not robots, exactly.
Yeah, they're not machine. You know, we think a human body can only take so much. You know, they can. You know, they can only take so much.
Yeah,
I mean,
saying that,
the simple solution is just if you're gonna allow for this amount of games, then allow for more substitutions and bigger squads. You know what I mean? Like just allow for that.
Exactly. And what's happened to the winter break? They trialed it, didn't they?
Yeah.
They had it just before COVID. I think we had the winter break. But then I haven't heard anything about it since. Does anyone know if they're planning to bring that back?
They won't.
Yeah, no, they have it this season.
Too much money.
No, they have it.
Like when you think about like. Sorry, go ahead, DT.
No, we're gonna have it this season. They're gonna split it into two. 10 teams are gonna be off for a couple of weeks. They're gonna, you will see. That's what they did even last year. Is it? Yeah. Sorry, they didn't do it last year. It was suspended the year before. Yeah, this year it's coming back. The 10 teams, 10 teams are gonna play this week, and they're not gonna play the following week. The other 10 teams will play. They're gonna give them winter break. They're gonna give it to them.
Do we know when that is going to be?
I think it's gonna be in January. But it might not favor us. Yeah, but Chelsea might not have a winter break. But we've got the World Club Cup, haven't we? Thank you very much. So in our winter break, we might have to play our games. So we might not have it. So that's the thing. But you know, with the substitute thing, the couch, there's a lot of traditionalists, especially in England, in Britain. They're against it. Even people in Scotland are supporting. But it's the traditionalists in the English FA that are against it. But football has changed. These people are running. They're faster now. They're running too much, and they're playing too many games. The substitution has to increase to 5, and squads has to increase. And is it the FIFA Pro, the footballers, the Professional Footballers Federation? They've been pushing for the past 5 years because their members are getting sick. But the traditionalists that don't want it to happen because they think it's going to affect the smaller clubs. The bigger clubs.
It is the smaller clubs, MDT. Every time the Premier League has sat down to try and bring this in, the shall I say the clubs outside of the top 6 vote against it because they think it puts them at a disadvantage. I think it's madness. It gives them an advantage. They too may not have to have such a big squad if they can have 5 substitutions. I just think there is a problem that we have in England. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a historical thing. We have this insatiability. If there's something that's good, we flog it and flog it and flog it and flog it until it's dead. This is what we're doing with the Premier League. This is what we're doing with our top-rate footballers. We overplay them. If you have a player that's good, he can't last more than a season because he will be flogged and expected by the media to perform at his very best for over, looking at Mount's case, 80 games. I think it is diabolical that we should even have a player talking about playing 80 games. It's not real. We have to have breaks. We have to, give things the right amount of labor for the return. I don't know. It's too much, and you're very right.
That's a great point you made, because if you look at Kante now, why has he got injured? Because Kovacic has been injured, so he's had to play every single week. Last season, after Lampard left, Tuchel was using him sparingly, and because of that, we saw the performances that we saw from Kante towards the end of the season, because he didn't have to play week in, week out. So sometimes he was rotated, sometimes Kovacic was rotated, and sometimes Jorginho, and that way everyone was kept fit and sharp. So it's difficult. But what you said earlier, Bobby, as well, where in the beginning of the season, not everyone's going to be having their fair share of games because we don't have players many. But when it comes to November, December time, that's when you're going to see your squad being fully utilised. You know, so there is enough games. There are enough games to go around for everybody. You know, so it is when we say about squad and this person's not getting time, be patient. They will get their game time later. I know that Gallagher's doing well, but I would have loved him to have stayed this season, because if Eddie had stayed this season, then I think that he could have played at least 20 to 25 games.
Matt, I would have loved him to have stayed, but I understand why he didn't. And this is why, you know, when we have this, if Chelsea don't win the league this year, Tuchel out, all that sort of nonsense. This is why we need the stability of a good manager, because Tuchel, I don't believe, knew enough about Gallagher. And when he started his first pre-season, he said, wow, you know, he had like 40 something players. He didn't really know whether it was coming or going. So of course he had to weed it down. So hopefully when he has had that full season, he would be able to listen to his scouts, watch a few more videos, understand the players that are out on loan. Definitely Gallagher is at the top of the pile. I don't think Gilmore's there yet. You know, people keep going on about Billy Gilmore. I'm always opting for caution. I think Gilmore, just as Mo NTD had alluded to, should have stayed. But the fact that he hasn't stayed, he's missed the trick. He's made his journey a bit harder. That might be a good thing for him. I wouldn't be too upset at him having yet another season out on loan, because that's the path he's chosen. But definitely the likes of Conor Gallagher, Ethan Ampadu, I think they should come back. As far as that right back situation is concerned, you still need to dot around a few world-class players from outside. And I'll be very much keen on us reigniting our interest in Jules Koundé. I think he would be the perfect accomplice to Reece James, because they're both the same type of player on the right. The problem we have is the left. Who on earth are we going to get to be able to dovetail with Chilwell? It's going to be a hard choice. Matheson, is he good enough?
Well, there's talk of him coming back, isn't there? Maybe as an option in January to bring him back. Maybe.
There's talk about that. I think. Yeah. But yeah, the Koundé one, that's a good one, because Koundé is quite versatile. And that's what we need as well. We need versatile players, because he can occupy the right wing back role, he could play the right centre back role, or he can play as a holding midfielder as well. And he's quite adaptable in all those positions. So hopefully we do reignite it, especially with the Christensen thing. Let's talk about Christensen actually while I mention him, because there's talk going on about the contract situation, and there was a report just before the game by Simon Johnson in the Athletic that said that he wasn't actually going to be playing in this game, but he actually did. So what do you think of his performance, and do you think that he will sign that contract, or do you think there's something going on behind the scenes there?
So far as the contracts remain unsigned, there's going to be a multiplicity of gossip. I would support the manager in every way, shape, or form if he felt, well, you know, since you said you're going to sign and you don't sign, I'll leave you on the bench. I would support him. But I know that's not Tuchel. You know, he's not. It's not really his He's not a vindictive type of manager. Lampard would have done that. I don't think Tuchel will. The contract situation it's a bit strange. I'm not sure what's going on with him. I'm not sure what's going on with Rudiger. But I think, you know, each time, especially Rudiger, he comes on, he's performing. I've gotten tired of it, to be honest. You know, I've got to that point where, do you know what, mate? If you're staying, sign it. If you're not, just say you're not. That, you know, give us that one a glorious season like Hazard did, and sail off into the hills. All this cat and mouse is BS. It's just got to BS level. If we know we've got you next season, fantastic. You're the best. We want you. If not, let's start planning now for your replacement. That's where I am now, because I'm tired of it. And I'm tired of giving our detractors an opportunity to start coming up with nonsense, different stories, sowing seeds of doubt, concern. That's what they do. So yeah, I mean that's just where we are until it's signed. They're going to keep throwing all these ridiculous stories about.
With the Christensen thing, I was a little bit surprised with Tuchel's answer. I thought he would just ignore it, even though I know he's a honest man. He answered it honestly, but I believe him not saying anything would have been better, because him saying something just put petrol to the fire, because it just everybody knows now what's happening, and that has put in pressure on the kid more. Now, any mistake on his performance today, I was worried, like, okay, is he in a right mental space to perform? Because the past 24 hours have been tough. It's all about what the manager said about you. With the Rudiger situation, for me, if he stays, he stays. If he goes, he goes. But the thing is, nothing is in Rudiger's court. It's up to the club, up to Marina. If Marina think Rudiger is worth the 200k, fine. If Marina think he's not worth it, fine by. Because I see both sides. I believe that Marina should do what's best for the club, and Rudiger should do what's best for Rudiger. If they cannot meet in one way, let him have a good season. He didn't break his contract. That will be 5 years he spent at Chelsea. The contract is signed. It's just a disagreement because I've negotiated contract before at work, and I know there are a few times up to time to sign, I change my mind because the offer I have offer somewhere else. Okay, and if you can't match it, I'm gone. And a few times they match it, another time they didn't. I went. So I know exactly contract, like you can change your mind until it's signed. Both sides can change their mind. Nobody is right or wrong there. So if Marina think Rudiger's value to the club or to the team is important, that's her decision because she is in charge. Okay, with the Christensen thing is different. I think Christensen doesn't want it to stay in the beginning, and everything came up with this 3 years. But maybe they didn't expect Chelsea will accept the 3 year. You understand? Now, I believe it's too much noise because right now everybody needs defenders. Bayern Munich need defenders. Real Madrid need defenders. Barcelona need defenders. Manchester United need defenders. All the top teams right now in Europe, they all need defenders. Even Juventus need defenders because Bonucci and Chiellini are old. Everybody need defenders. So if you're a defender right now, you're playing well, you're in demand. I don't get it. To be honest, if I'm him, I will stay. Okay, but I'm not him. So I can understand where a 25-year-old, you were like, okay, I've been quoted, whatever. But at the end of the day, I think if you're enjoying your football, even if you sign the 3 years, you're still going to be 28. You can even have another move in you. So for me, that's the thing. But I don't know what to tell him, but I just hope he signs. With Rudiger, that's different. That's up to the club. The club can decide.
Mo, the thing with Christensen, I don't think it's him. He has advisors, his father, and all that.
That's what I mean. It is his dad.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That's slightly different.
No, that's what I'm talking about. Because of the father negotiate whatever, the father come back and say this and that. Because the father is taking advice from agents and analytics people from outside. So this is where it's complicated with Christensen. Because
I still think it will be sorted. I really do. The father probably won't. He'll just say, "Take your time," because he knows that the position is very much in Christensen's court. With Rudiger is an interesting one because I've said this. I've come under attack in the past, but I won't stop saying it. I've kept quiet until we'll see what happens. it is down to Marina. It is down to her. If he goes, if it is any other person in her position, and we've known them, we've had them. Trevor Birch, even
Peter
the
Kenyon.
great Peter Kenyon, they would not last a second. They would be
Yeah.
crucified
Yeah.
out of the club. You will see them swinging from a tree. But because
Rongoli.
it's a woman, we've
Yeah,
got this
Rongelli as well.
thing,
Yeah.
you know, that we play this stupid PC politics, which I hope doesn't come into football. If you've walked into that position, take what comes with it. You know, I that is what really annoys me about that situation. You know, the pressure should be being put on her, but you know now you know there's a division amongst the fans. You can't even say anything about her, which is I never support that sort of autonomy. It's ridiculous. And when PC culture starts coming into football, that's the beginning of the end. It's going to be destroyed because you're going to then have anybody being able to come in. And that's when the commercial vultures step in because they will push the people that they know will not be criticized forward to achieve their ends. Criticism should be open to everybody, even Tuchel, really. You know, the only reason I support him to the hilt is because I know he's the best and I know that criticism will be destructive more than constructive. But certainly in the realms of the employed members of the board, they should not be immune from criticism. And Rudiger's situation is the absolute acid test, if you ask me.
I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
You
I'm
know,
not sure if she's immune for criticism though. Like the fact that we're even having this discussion right now means that she's definitely falling in the line of fire. Like whether you go on Twitter and you see people singing her praises versus her detractors. It's just Twitter. Like everything's just so polarizing, right? Like you have one side that says one thing and the other side that says the other. But I still haven't come to the conclusion that she's in an unassailable position just because she's a woman. I think that we have to analyze her same way we would analyze anybody else. She does good things. She does really poor things, and I don't think that she's gotten to a point where she's not being scrutinized. Or I could be
Well,
wrong.
it's
yeah.
important it
It's not
stays
what I
that
see.
way.
Yeah, for me, the acid test will come with this Rudiger situation, and if it is a case of her trying to be hardballing, then yeah, questions will have to be asked because it depends on what he's asked for. Obviously, we don't know what's going on in the press, but if it's a case of for an extra 25,000 a week or 50,000 a week, we don't sign him up onto a new contract without looking at his value, then I just think that that's short-sightedness on our part. Today, you saw it with a fight with when was that a Nigerian defender for Watford? Who was in his face? Yeah,
Ralph.
Yeah, who was in his when that tackle? When he was moaning about that tackle, which was arguably could have been a red. Although he got the ball, but his follow through took out Mason Mount and could have injured Mason Mount. Who came in to the mix? Rudiger. Rudiger was right in there in the mix, and just So this guy, he's if you want to go to war with somebody at Chelsea, you're going to take Rudiger along with you because he's not backing down for anything, and that's the sort of characters you need at the club. So don't underestimate that sort of leadership, that sort of nastiness, that sort of thing that can get the rest of the team galvanized. It's something you have or something you haven't got. Because I remember Couch was talking about Havertz, and what you said, and Dennis, was he hasn't got it in him to do that sort of as that because he hasn't got that aggressive nature in his play. You either got it or you haven't. And I like to see at least some of my players in the team with that bit of aggression because you just need that sort of character in the team if you're going to be successful.
Yeah, for me, with Marina, like I don't like you guys know me. I hardly criticize anybody. It will take a lot, like what happened with Manchester United because I was surrounded by their fan that pushed me. With Marina, I look at it this way: if you're doing what's best for the club, good. But make sure that if you're doing what's best for the club, make sure that we are winning. If we're not winning, the buck stop with you because you take all the glory and things like that. So for me, they're all equal because I know Longoli as well, his contract issues. That's why the board was fed up with him because of certain players were, not happy with, especially with the, it was with the Lampard negotiation, isn't it? That's one of the, when he was upset, Lampard was very angry. Yeah. So, and for me, next year is going to be even tough for Marina because most of the academy players in the first team are going to due for renewal. There will be 2 years left. So imagine she will have to negotiate like 5, 6 people the same time. That's the acid test. Not even this Rudiger one. It's next year. Because what's going to happen? Is she going to try to lowball them or is she going to give them their value? Reece James, Mason Mount, Callum, Pulisic, all of them will have 2 years left or something like that. Similar to, Billy Gilmore, all of them. So you got to make a decision. Are you keeping them? Are you selling them? Are you loaning them? Things like that. So next year is the acid test. This one is just the appetizer because she might decide whatever she wants to do with this one. But next year negotiation, because she's gonna have 5, 6 negotiations to do. And also don't forget, if Rudiger leave and who else? What's his name? If Christensen as well, we need to replace them. If Aspi leave, we need to replace Aspi. And Thiago will not be playing as much games. So you bring Levi Colwell in. So still, what we did, we've lost experience in our defense automatically.
Yeah.
So these are all.
The decision makers are very, very much the part of a stable club and very much a part of a successful club. And what you're saying is very correct. And what gives me concern, I don't like to wait until you've got the illness. I'm a believer in the preventions. And what's happening now is an indicator for me. She's struggling. She's struggled a lot with a lot of things that have been swept under the carpet. Now, the Rudiger situation and the Christensen situation, if not arrested now, will be an example of what's to come. If you can't deal with this, the rest are going to fall like a pack of cards because of indecision, slow decision making. That has always been my criticism of her in her position. Yes, she's done some things right. I always appreciate that. But her decision making is poor. She is too slow. And it's been hidden by this fact that, I'm a great negotiator, or whoever it is they're trying to tell her. No, you're not. You're indecisive. And it's indecision that will cause problems. Make a decision. If you're not going to sign Rudiger, tell us who you are signing, because he needs to be replaced. If you're going to sign him, sign him. Don't F around. And what's happening is all this messing about, trying to play poker. Oh, who blinks first? It just is, yet again, it shows me such a lack of understanding of football and what it means, how to sustain the position. And more often than not, a lot of the deals that we have survived have been when other people have stepped in to push it across the line. I don't know. I think I'm concerned about that aspect of things. And Mo, you've just raised points about other contracts that are coming up in the future. What are you going to do? What, you're going to start playing hardball of, you're going to be the great money saver with Mason Mount?
There are, for me, there are certain times that you can play hardball, but not in this situation, because you look at the market and was it Mo who said there's a lot of defenders, a lot of clubs who need defenders around the world. So you know what, these footballers earn their pay, they can play for any of the big clubs they want. So if they get the money they want at Chelsea, they will go somewhere else. Simple as that. And don't say, look
she doesn't understand that.
Yeah, because if you look
at, she doesn't understand the market.
Yeah, who's that Bayern defender who went to Real Madrid?
Alaba.
Yes,
Guess what?
yeah.
Alaba went to Real Madrid. Bayern refused to give him just 1 million more. Guess what?
Exactly.
Now they regret it. You know what?
Yeah.
They regret it now. They want Rudiger. They will give Rudiger the Alaba money. Can you believe that? Last year, you have a defender. You refuse to give him 1 million more. Now there's a campaign in Germany. If you read the German press, they want Rudiger to return back to Germany because if he plays in Bayern Munich, most of the German players play in Bayern Munich. That's good for their national team. You understand? The camaraderie and stuff like that. So that's why there's a campaign in Germany. Rudiger don't want to go to Germany. He wants to stay, obviously. But there's a campaign in Germany for him to come there because Bayern Munich let go of Alaba for 1 million more. And now they want to bring Rudiger to give Rudiger 1 million more than if you tell them now they will take Alaba back because they bought Upamecano and he's struggling. A young defender, everybody said this is the best next thing. The guy is struggling in defense. Their defense is their weakest point now. And now they want to replace Alaba with Rudiger. So Chelsea are doing the same thing. So it's funny. It's crazy. You sign a young defender.
It's stupidity. You know, one thing I always liked about people like Peter Kenyon, Ron Gorley, you know, you can criticize them. They say, oh, they overspent. No, they were decision makers. They took some risks. In a way, the risks eventually paid off, although they put us very much in the red. Well, not so much Kenyon, because Kenyon had the money to play with, but certainly Gorley overstepped the spending mark. But he was investing. He is part of the success because of his expenditures. Now, I know the club wants a level of self-sustenance, and the club wants to be able to take care of its books, FFP, and all this and that and the other. Believe you me, I would rather we secure the services of your Mounts and your Christensens and all the others that are coming up for Reece James and so on, coming up for contract, and indeed not buy your next best thing in Europe, than we mess around. Do you know what? If we continue messing around like this, we'll lose out on everything. Because if you lose out on these guys, you're not going to be able to buy anybody else because you'll be priced out of the market for them. Everybody knows you're desperate. Everybody knows that nobody's with you anymore. And it's a disaster. That is my deepest concern about this person. And that's why you should never have political moves in a club. You just should not do it. You need to be ruthless. You need to be to the point. And Roman, bless him, he's trying to be fair. He's trying to do the whole sort of equal ops thing, and you know, he's trying to just have a balanced club. But I think he needs to have someone. He needs an attack dog at the ankles of his director at the moment, because she ain't doing it, in my opinion.
And also, in that right, in what MDT said as well some time ago is, and it's correct to what he said as well, because I remember we had the conversation, and he was saying about one of the things Roman wanted always was to see that academy that he's built. He wanted to see 6 or 7 of them play into this first team.
Yeah.
Now, all of a sudden, these same players that we're talking about that finally made it to this level are going to be, 2 years left on their contracts? And they could imagine if we don't give them what they want, and they could end up going. I mean, can you imagine how that's going to make? I mean, surely Roman would have to step in on that, because surely that is one of his dreams, was to see those 6 or whatever players coming through the ranks to play in this Chelsea first team, which is what we've got now. And can you just imagine now if we don't sort these contracts out with these players, especially the younger players, like we alluded to, Reece James, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Mason Mount, players like that. If they don't get these contracts, we know that other clubs in Europe are going to want to grab these players so quickly.
Man City want Reece James, don't they? And I think some big clubs
badly.
Well, let's see. I mean, talking about Roman, I mean, that man, I've got to give him a shout. Yeah. I've got to give. I mean, that guy, he walked to the Man City game. I think he went to a pub. He walked, albeit with his bodyguards. He has to have bodyguards. But he just walked like a regular Joe. You wouldn't even notice him. The cameras missed him because they expecting it. Big up to the guy. Big up to the guy. Honestly.
Did you see him, DJ? Because he apparently was at the game, on the Man U game on Saturday.
He was at the game. I didn't get a chance. I was trying to look up in his, where he usually stands in his usual. But I was trying to look up for him.
Yeah.
I could not see him. He probably was there, but I couldn't see him.
He was there. Yeah, he was confirmed.
He was there, but I just could, because apparently they were saying, I think he was the cameras were not. I don't think the cameras even went on his side. I think they either missed him or no one's telling him. But he was there watching on. But I couldn't see. I'll be honest with you. We were so concentrated on the game. But the one thing I always do whenever I go in to watch a match, I always try and look up into his box to see especially when he's been in this country now, to see if he's back up there. But I couldn't see him. He may have come afterwards. I don't know when that would have been. But I certainly did not see him. But I know he was at the match. So he did attend it. But I just didn't see him.
I guess the point I'm making is if you compare him and his attitude to all the other owners, it's just, he loves the club. Roman doesn't want to be seen. He wants to be like you and me going to watch Chelsea Football Club. That's all he cares about. He is such an unassuming owner. It's incredible.
He's like us. It's quite good to observe him during a match, because when we do our little twitches when we're going to score orders, he does everything. The head movement. He's just he's really invested in the game. He's a true supporter.
The high fives.
It's not just a business for him. He
suffers with the first time, when he first got the club and he'd been here for a little while, and the first time the cameras were on him and he was doing that. You don't fake that sort of thing. That's you and me watching Chelsea today. You know what I mean? We're sitting there on the sofa. I mean, my wife can't even come near me when we're having crucial games. I'm all over the place. I'm up and down. I remember, was it Champions League 2012?
Oh God!
Semi-final. I mean, but we know that emotion. We see it, and he had that. And the first time I saw him with that emotion, I remember phoning up Chelsea TV as we did in those days. Max,
I remember you back in the days.
Do you remember that? I don't think you might be.
I remember you calling him up back in the days of Chelsea TV. GG Salmon used to speak to it, mate.
GG,
yes, I remember.
All that. I was pointing it out that Neil,
I bet I was listening to you.
You probably were. I mean, if you're pure Chelsea, I know there's some of us.
It was you, Vic Lair, George Martin,
Vic Lair,
the three regulars.
George Martin, they're the main three.
Yeah, a few of them.
Vic Lear used to crack me up. Vic Lear used to be funny.
Yeah, he's old Dutch. I mean, that was a good time. But I remember I found out. I said, "This geezer,
we're good." I remember
he's the real deal. He's feeling this, and everybody agrees. So Roman is. I just wish whatever's going on, just let this man go and run his club. He loves his club. He loves the area. I can't understand it, but let him go. Let him do his thing. I think, in my view, there are worse people owning football clubs now. So
look at it. You have to just look at the Everton guys, because they came in with billions, didn't they? And they've run that club into the ground.
Speaking of Everton, I just saw some breaking news earlier on when you guys were chatting. I don't know if it was a fake tweet or whatever, but apparently. The board are going to be discussing Rafa's future. He might be getting the sack, whether to keep him or not at Everton.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know if it's someone making up Newcastle, that tweet. I don't know, but I saw it.
Because I think the Newcastle job's waiting for him, isn't it?
Yeah.
But why? Why do they want to get rid of him so soon?
I think they haven't won in the last 8. I don't think someone was saying. When we got them, So they're 8 matches.
They've never taken to him, have they?
No.
The fans have never taken to Rafa, have they? That's the thing.
The problem with Rafa is I think he finished himself when he was at Liverpool. He said so many things about other teams. The way he slagged off Chelsea, then he came to manage Chelsea and he thought the Chelsea fans will, we don't forget things like that. It was funny, really, because no matter what he won, he would never have been. They just didn't like him. I tried to like him, but no way. They wouldn't take to him at all. And he's. I think he said a few things about Everton as well, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
So
that's why they can't stand him, mate.
Yeah. So he's better off going to Newcastle.
Yeah, probably. Right, guys, I'm gonna go because it's gone midnight or early start tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Dennis, you still around or you?
Sorry, guys, I was just doing something.
Is Dennis around or is he just still? He's probably with his son. Yeah.
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 So I don't know if you guys want to stay on until Dennis comes back, but I personally need to get going. But you guys can stay and talk if you want, and then you can wait for Dennis to come and close the chat. So yeah.
Oh, mate.
But for me anyway.
What a stream! Wow. Nobody excellent talking points.
Yeah, I'll say that I got to go, but you guys can stay on if you want. So sure.
I'm stuck with my son in bed, so maybe we'll just wrap it up here, and then we could carry on tomorrow, maybe on Mo's stream if he so chooses. Does that sound good?
Yeah,
sure. It sounds great.
Yeah, that's great.
So thanks for stepping in.
That's great, mate. That's great. Thanks a lot.
You both did well. You did well.
Thanks,
anytime, man. Max, great host, man. We need more of that.
Max.
Yeah, Max. We need more of sometimes.
Great big.
I will try and come live again. I'm getting a new setup soon, so I'll try and do some funky stuff later on. But yeah, thanks guys. And so obviously it wasn't a pretty game, but you know what? We got the 3 points, and that's all I'm worried about. At the end of the day, whenever we get 3 points, then I'm happy. So all good. So West Ham.
Have a good day. Good night, guys.
Okay, cheers, guys. Cheers, everyone. Right, see you later. Bye.
Just take care. Take it easy. Good night.